When Roe v. Wade was overturned, my heart went out to fellow American women. It was a time of class solidarity that reverberated worldwide. Unfortunately for me, I didn't realize I would be one of the many who go through with not just one, but two abortions. Back in 2022, I was 21 and I had just quit my crappy job at Dunkin's, working more than 50 hours a week. I was just beginning to clear a path for me to go back to school after dropping out 2 years prior. I was feeling a lot more fatigued than usual, and I started feeling sick after getting my period twice in a row in less than a month, which was unusual for me despite having irregular menstrual cycles. I wasn't able to get a gynecologist appointment until it was too late. I set it up anyway with a nagging feeling in the back of my head that I could be pregnant. I wasn't ready to be a mom. I struggled with an eating disorder, mental health issues without proper help, and I had only been with my boyfriend for a year and a half. Not long enough to know if I wanted to be with him long term, especially in a way that ties me down to him permanently. I want any woman watching to understand, regardless of whether you are facing this decision alone, or in my case with a partner, you are allowed to hold space for your emotions and feelings. Because no matter what anyone says, it is all about you. If I ever wish for a future in any capacity I envision for myself, a baby is not in that equation. I remember Planned Parenthood and the lobby to check in. The incessant questions kept coming, and after all of it, the smell of bleach and hand sanitizer is still imprinted on me like a stain on a glass chalice. I felt the feeling of isolation like a weight when the door closed behind my boyfriend. My mouth went as dry as a desert the entire car ride back home, the whirlwind of everything suddenly crashing down on me. Women go through this every day, some with help, others alone. I had mine done once at a friend's house while I was still living with my mom. It all felt like a fever dream, just the blur of events. But mentally, my mind was active. Thoughts such as, how could this have happened? Or the most common thought, what am I going to do and how will I get through this alone? I had my boyfriend and two close girlfriends at the time help me at her house. I got comfortable as the pills began dissolving behind my gums. I can almost remember when the cramps started, and I began to feel a bit of relief, as I was used to my menstrual cramps being worse. However, as the pills nearly disappeared, I felt an increase in sharp pains, which I would later conclude were contractions. That's when it hit me. I was going to have to deliver a fetus, even though it wasn't any bigger than a bean. The screams that began to tear through the house are something I will never forget. If I knew what I was entering into this experience, I'm not sure there would have been much my boyfriend or I could do. We were naive, but we had no business having to go through that so young. I never regretted a thing. The ordeal was a crime scene. Blood contained in one area, but everywhere at the same time. And I remember feeling cold and weak from all the loss of blood. Once it was all over, I could barely process what had just happened to me. That experience left a mark on me. The person I had been was lost. I remember being in such a horrible depression, and I didn't have the resources to help myself. When I did end up telling my mother, I instantly regretted it, with her only response being, "Well, I'm sure you see the world differently." I knew I was pregnant again this year, and thankfully around 6 weeks when I was waking up every day with morning sickness and ironically the craving for sushi, I knew I had to find a reputable source where I could have my medical abortion pills delivered discreetly and cheaper than Planned Parenthood. Thankfully, I had moved out a few months earlier from my mom's house, so I had my fiancé and a safe, secure place for me physically, emotionally, and mentally. Having gone through this experience before and entering this last one, I had all the correct preparations: heating pad, painkillers, and anti-nausea meds. I experienced less pain this time. However, the feeling of my uterus dropping and feeling it pass through me leaves me traumatized to this day. Although this experience from beginning towards the end was smooth, I could still feel it passing through me, and the guilt and shame were eating away at me until the tears began to pour. My fiancé could only hold me and say, "I've got you, love. It's okay. You can let it all out." As my wailing turned into soft crying, and soon I felt steady enough to go to sleep. Those abortions changed my view of life. In my case, I lost a bit of my innocence after my first experience. And my second one made me realize that despite facing a hard decision, my would-be child wouldn't want me to be constantly dreading both of our existence. Being pregnant sucks. And almost immediately after my second experience, I regained my energy, youth, and my life. I had fallen in love again with him because of how caring and understanding he was throughout the entire process. And it made me realize that blood relations don't mean they have your back, and you will never view yourself as the same person again. Having someone on your side that you can bare your soul to is raw. That kind of love transcends more than just time. It nurtured my broken soul, and by, I began to work on the person I wanted to be. But I can say that our relationship is cemented after these experiences together. We need to come together, support each other, put our differences aside. Whether it be personal ethics or religion, having an abortion can be a scary decision, and the emotional toll can be a steep price to pay. In the United States, where a woman used to be federally protected, it is now left to us, the people, to educate, not scrutinize. In sharing my story, I hope that any woman out there knows that she's seen and heard, no matter what circumstances she's in. Not every woman is the same, and holding space can be more supportive than you could ever imagine.